Hi. Hopefully this stays. I have to get myself a really good pair of mic, and I lost the mic and earphones. But these are earphones. They're not called earphones. These are called something else. They're called muffs or something, ear muffs or something like that. Anyway, welcome back. Welcome back to Thorny Thoughts, where I basically just blurred out my thoughts. Really, what I do here with you guys is sit down like with a friend and share my thoughts. You know, if you like invited a friend over, an extra neighbor, and you invited them over for coffee, and you grab your coffee. So grab your coffee, friend. Grab your coffee and let's have some thoughts. Mine are thornier than others. Let's first, obviously, address the elephant in the room. Oh, and after these following messages, give me a second. I gotta make sure that we are recording. And we are. Hopefully my head's not cut off or some kind of nonsense like that. But if that happens, it happens. And we roll on. So the elephant in the room obviously being I have been completely absent from my channel. And I have been deep in life. And what I mean is that life has been happening, and it's been happening fast and hard, and it's wonderful and exciting. But it's also draining and all-consuming, and I don't know what I feel, actually, to be honest with you. If I have to be perfectly honest, which I do my utmost best to be as forthcoming as I can be without being too explicit. I mean, I think there's a fine line, and I think I always would like to keep that. So life got in the way of everything that I like to do, everything that I am dreaming and plotting out to do, because sometimes function outweighs your dreams and your aspirations and your hopes. And you know, right now I'm in a point of my life where I'm trying to mold my life as I feel it should be, which in the past, my life, and I would imagine most people's lives, don't think I'm new or unique in any sense this way, but most people are functioning in life. They're not living life. They're functioning in life. And I would say that that was me. I was functioning in life, and I was functioning on all 16 cylinders, even though I only had 8. And I think, and I guess, and I would imagine that 90% of the human race basically runs on all 16 cylinders, even though they're only installed with 8. Right? This video is going out today, which is a Monday. I'm not missing another Monday, I'll have you know. Although it is late. It is late. I will be putting up some older videos that I have that are just Not that they're not relevant. It's not that they're not relevant, but the season is off and they're so far away that I just don't feel right putting them up and not explaining that life has really gotten away from me. And I've been focusing on other things that are just as important as my dreams or my wishes to talk to you all about, well, about a lot of important things, but I would say a lot of things that we should be thinking about are important. And whenever I think of an important thing, I want to share it. And generally, I have found in my life that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that generally my opinion does not align with the popular opinion at large. Oh my God, today I got something stuck in my windpipe. Like when you breathe in, I got a particle in there. I'm sorry, I'm digressing. But I have this, so I'll be doing that throughout the whole video. But I thought I was going to choke. I honestly thought today I was going to choke on this little thing that went down the wrong pipe. I could not breathe. I literally was snotty from my eyes, ears, and nose. And I was trying to hide it from my husband, and I was like trying to be like very, what is that word? Not delicate, but very, like ladylike in the olden days where, you're like dying, but you're like trying to do it in a pretty fashion. I literally was focused on like not panicking because I could exhale, but I couldn't inhale. Anyways, but since that was this morning. Since that, my throat hasn't been right. And it doesn't hurt, but it feels scratched. Figure it out. I don't know. I'm weird. Anyway, so I don't know exactly where I left off, but I will start with the fact that functioning is, I would say, the autopilot position of people in today's society. Whether we're talking Philippines or we're talking North America. And I mean relative, because the Philippines is not like North America, but relative to Philippines 60 years ago. It's high tech. And for a little while, for a fraction of a second in my life, which was the entire time that I had this channel, I've been able to enjoy a moment in time of my life where I'm able to live my life, not function in my life. And I had to switch gears for the last 3 or so weeks to function again. And I will tell you that function is by far less superior to living a life where you don't feel like you must go on the hamster wheel or you will die. And I don't mean literally, but I mean die in terms of danger. You will not have rent paid. You will not have food on the table. You will not have gas to put in your car. That's what kind of, it doesn't matter what the fear driver is, your body and the reaction to that fear, whatever said fear it is. Bear chasing me, I can't get gas for my car, can't buy a car, my car breaks down, so on. And so for the last 3, and it's been so packed that I don't even know if it's 3 weeks or I haven't, because I haven't uploaded, because I haven't recorded, because I have done absolutely zero, and I mean zero of anything related to a computer or a camera or besides of course just recording or recording for purposes of tracking something. When you function your whole life in functional living, where you're just living, you're going from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, you have absolutely no time to get to a relaxed enough state in your nervous system, or in your mind space, or I don't even really know what it is. And I'm sure that if I thought about it long and hard, I'm sure that I would come up with a couple of theories. The problem is that I'm still in function mode, and I absolutely had to put my foot down today and say, no, I understand that I'm not going to do a video in the morning or walking through like my beautiful forest, but I have to get a video out, and I have to address the fact that, I have 13 subscribers, and I owe them a hello. I haven't died somewhere eaten by a bear, or I haven't been assassinated or something. So I'm joking, but I figured I would just, even in function mode, do it. And even if I'm doing it extra badly, which is probably the case, it's just what it's going to be. I think moving forward, as I get some of my infrastructure more ready, I think I would like to move into doing a podcast sit down situation more than walking around. I've had so many problems with sticks, and I've got another stick. Now this stick is way too advanced. And I see that you see all my problems, and they're like really first world, like A++ world, first world problems. I understand that. But the truth of the matter is I think that I'd rather just sit and chat with you with a coffee. Once in a while, go and take you on a walk, because I think, it's wonderful. But you know what? I'm not looking where I'm going half the time. I get smacked. And, in the wintertime, I want to go to the river now. So I'll take you guys a couple of times, but not all the time. I think I'm going to start moving into the studio once I get the infrastructure going. That was unnecessary. I might even cut this out, but probably not, because I just don't cut anything out. Not usually. So off I went on a meandering tangent. I apologize. So I wanted to tell you that that's kind of how life is. And when you're in function mode, there is no chance for you to start reflecting and start to heal from life, because I feel like sleep and waking up and having a stressful day, and then sleep is the opposite of work and having a stressful day. It's the opposite. It's the moon and the sun, right? And when you don't have any time to sit and go, the whole meditating in a living room where your children are screaming, your husband's getting annoyed or burning dinner, God bless his soul, whichever case it is, you're trying to meditate because you need peace. Good luck. Good luck. True peace is unplugging. And I literally have been unplugged for as long as however my last video was put out. So I've been unplugged for real. And sorry, I gotta get comfortable. And I had no idea how many things were happening. I mean, okay, let me just go over a few things that I know, because I still haven't plugged in. 1, Charlie Kirk got assassinated. There's already starting on the internet to be like sensationalized. There's already starting to be videos of the actual event, and frame by frame. My heart can't. I'm like, skip. It's like a horror movie. I don't want to see that. You can't unsee something. I'll just a little tidbit. If you don't want to put like gashes in your mind, because that's what it does. It like gashes in your mind. You don't believe me? Okay, well, that's fine. I'm telling you it does. You can't unsee things. And if you already know that how he got removed, you can already imagine it. You've seen enough videos, movie videos, where you can imagine it. You don't need to actually see him. I like to see him alive and in the videos where he's spunky and he's with his wife and whatever. I'm neither here or there for this gentleman. I'm for the fact that shouldn't all lives matter, including his? I don't know. That happened. Then there was some sort of meeting with Putin and Trump. Still playing games. This is all a game for us to watch and be either in awe or be enraged or whatever your team is. Pick a team. If you're on a team, you're in the game. What else is there? Oh, yes, Poland has officially called for Article 4. So essentially, quietly, without a bang, World War III has begun. Okay, so that has happened, but here in Canada, you wouldn't think anything is happening. No, nothing's happening. Just have your coffee already. Don't be such a negging Nelly, so negative and talking about war. Come on, let's move on. What other things happened? I mean, the amount of things that have happened in the time that I've been otherwise busy with my life has been incredible. I can't even name all of the things that have happened. We are today currently September, I believe it's the 21st. Anyways, the first day of autumn, allegedly. So I think the 21st or the 22nd. I never know these things. And right now, the amount of wars that are more or less minutes away from sparking up into full-blown, mayhem. And I know people that are planning their holidays. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. All I'm saying is it like, does nothing change when like a war is announced? Like, that's, I guess, what's shocking me the most. Let's forget about that. Let's talk about something more real for me that I can actually put my hands on, see, touch, smell, taste. This week alone, I know 2 people that have been given a pretty severe health diagnosis. Both had very good health before they got this diagnosis. It was sudden. And in 1 week, 2 people. Very strange. Both of them have been medically altered. They took the alteration jibber jabber thingy technology. It's freaky, man. Like, you really can't prepare for the amount of things that are coming down. And I would say that my nervous system being on function mode here in this environment was in fact very different. Then my function mode down south in the city. And the only way that I can describe it to you is that this no longer is really classified exactly as function mode. Although I will say it is function mode in the sense that you're go, 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 you're on from literally 7 in the morning minimum, because some of the people that were helping us with some of the parts of the projects were getting up at 5:30. So you're on from potentially 5:30 until 9:30 to 11, depending, because some of the people that were helping us were people from that we knew, and so they're from out of town. And it was an amazing time. So I was living functionally, but living. So it was like a combination of now living a functioning life, like run, run, go, 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 from literally 5:30 till whenever we actually sat down, and then, enjoyed ourselves for after working really hard. But because it wasn't so stress induced, the work that we were doing, that we were on a time crunch, that's why it was like functional. That's why we were like go, go, go. We were on a time crunch. But the time crunch was very different up here. And I realized that we as human beings are being so beaten down in big metropolitan cities and very busy, busy, busy places that are fully, fully connected, interconnected, double and triple interconnected, diversified, and, what is it? Environmentally friendly, everybody equal opportunity, equal outcome, those places. They are, I think, in short order, we are going to see that they're going to become loony bins, like soon, because there's only a certain threshold of sane people that are going to remain, that are strong enough or are too poor to get out of situations where massive areas, cities like California and in Vancouver, where crime and the people that are so down on their life, let's just put it that way, that they overrun an area. No matter how beautiful or how luxurious it was in the past, right now it's becoming a swamp, because these big area, like condensed with lots and lots of people, create a very unnatural space for us humans, and we become like eroded versions of us. We function, but we're not like really alive. We are like kind of a little bit like a metaphorical zombie, because we are living in very unnatural, almost mentally unstable environment. And I started noticing that when I subtly, just a little bit, started realizing that. So my friend Herbie that I bring to the home, that we got brought into the home, oh my God, it kills me that I have to have him in that home. Because every time I come, it's like I feel like a little sparkle of less in his eye. Even though when he was living with us, he didn't have the support. I mean, things were just not great. They just were not great. And now they're not great in the way that, he can't live with us anymore. That part is not great, but everything else is great. But the one thing that's not great is that many of the people that are in these homes, in these nursing homes, are people that have lost their noodles. Like, and there's so many ways to lose your mind. Like, so many ways to lose your mind. And one way to lose your mind is to become an addict. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Becoming an addict is not a disease, but it is an epidemic. And it is one that didn't happen without a plan. And I don't mean the people that are addicted. I'm talking about the people that created the addiction in the first place. And, you know, like you can't find, I don't know, pick a drug, you know, what's that one where people are standing bent over? I want to say Ozempic, but I know it's not Ozempic. Ozempic is the diabetes one. Anywho, you know which one. Fentanyl. Like, you just can't find that in nature. Yeah, sure, maybe nature, it comes out of nature somehow, bastardized, 45 bastardization processes later, but somebody makes it. And somehow it's unaccounted for. How is it not controlled from the top? You better start asking yourself some questions, people. We need to ask questions. The problem is now too many questions. People lose their, you know, their noggin. Sorry, you guys are like attached to me so close. Hopefully this isn't too close for you, friends. And I just want to say, oh my God, like I feel like a movie star for all of my subscribers and people that actually come and watch these videos. And I have this one, I mean, all of you are fabulous, but I have this one fantastic subscriber that actually writes, oh my God, I'm always so intimidated, by the way. Yes, I am. When I read these emails, they're so beautifully, or these comments, they're so beautifully and well written. Like, it's just, I'm like, there I go using like. So I want to thank you guys all for, you know, hanging in there and knowing that sometimes life gets in the way, and that's what happened. Life got in the way. And, but I have been doing so much thinking, actually. And you know what I've realized? I've realized that maybe I have to limit the amount of times I pick up the camera, and I have to maybe think more, because I really had a lot of good time to think. So like, for example, okay, I'm sorry about the like. For example, I was doing something, a menial task that needed to be done. It was a big task, but it was, you know, repetitive and something that you want to just put something on and listen to while you're doing it, because otherwise you'll poke your eyes out with spoons. So one of those kind of things, you know, you're doing it and you're doing the same thing over, and you don't have to think about it. So when you're doing those kind of tasks, as long as it's safe, of course, if you're like high up in the air, you shouldn't like mind wander. But I've had, over the course of the last 3 weeks, these tasks that didn't require a lot of brain power for me to actually, you know, do. I was, for 10 days, for example, I'll give you an example. I was as close to the best housewife I could muster, because I was the person that was responsible for food, morning, breakfast, all of the dishes maintenance, making sure that everybody had all sleeping essentials. So people that were sleeping over had enough covers, enough pillows, so on and so forth, etc. And so for 10 days, I was cooking, I was cleaning, I was fluffing, I was running around, bringing hors d'oeuvres, and it was wonderful. But it was also all encompassing, and I did not have time to even, I wasn't doing my regular runs. I wasn't usually in the car because I was literally on site almost 10 days straight. So I didn't have time to do that. I don't have time to be walking in the forest when I'm an essential part of the team. And maybe to some people that might not sound very essential, but it is a very essential job. A woman's job, or a job that is required in the home, whether a woman or a man does it. So like, just settle down, anyone that has an issue, is a serious job. And if you want to do a good job, you have to do a little bit of real work. There is real elbow grease to be had in the kitchen, in the laundry room, in the home in general. And I took that job very seriously, and everybody that was on the team were giving me 5-star reviews, and that was my job. And I apologize that this video might be too long, but we're catching up, old friend. So I was able to have a lot of longer threaded thoughts, not feeling compelled to pick up the camera and right away start following that thread. I just sat and sort of marinated in it and ruminated on it, or threw the idea off my husband in the morning when we were having our coffee in bed, because that was really the only time at that point, that 10 days, it was really strange actually, even for my husband and myself, because it was 10 days consecutively of not really being alone, not having our own rhythm. And again, we realized that we've ran into a more of a rushed, more of a, again, keeping up rhythm. And we hadn't had to do that in a really, I guess, in a longer period of time than we realized. So I'm not really sure why I was telling you that. That kind of, I meandered right off the rails there a little bit. But needless to say, back to thinking, I ruminated a lot, but I had no time to record, to download, to spruce up, to upload. I had lost power, I can't count how many times, because I'm not sure why. I don't know if it was the thunderstorms. I don't know if it was the heat, because we had thunderstorm, heat warnings, frost warnings. In 3 weeks, we had frost. We had major thunderstorms. We had, heat. Like, we had like plus 37, felt like 37 or something like that. So we had every range of temperature. We had assassinations. We had great meetings. We had wars started. We had so many things. And I just really threw myself into what we were doing. And I had said, you know what? I'm not doing anything half-ass. I'm just going to really focus on what I'm doing. And then when I am able, the very first opportunity, which was today, I am going to send off a video and let you guys know that I'm horrified that in 3 weeks or whatever amount of time I haven't chatted with you guys, we are hoisted or thrown into or pushed into severe instability in our world. And there's starting to be just massive talks about AI taking over every job. And I think I've discussed this in so many of my videos about how AI is promising to take everybody's job. These are things that are all fear, fear, fear. And I have to tell you that in all of the chaos of function that I was in the moment. and I was in zero fear. Oh, well, that's not true. Actually, there was one time where, I had, some fear. But I had a moment to really think about that. I don't want to really share that story right now. That's not a story for now. Sorry. I hate doing that. I hate when people do that to me. But you know what, friend? I think that's probably really long. I'm probably like at 40 minutes now, and you've probably already logged off. I hope you haven't. I hope that if you've stayed this long, that you forgive me, first of all. And second of all, I hope that you can really add to the conversation about if you're feeling the quickening of the house of cards collapsing in on itself. And this is not something that I want to say as a negative or a positive. It's not. It's neither of those. It is just the way that it is. If you start counting, and because I haven't prepared, I haven't, actually printed up some stuff, and I will. I think once I start really sitting down in front of a desk and having more of the, pardon me, more podcasty sort of feeling, I'll have more facts for you. But I really like being able to talk to you as a friend, because I think it's important that we don't try to overtalk each other. I think it's important that we don't speak to each other with ego. I think it's important that we focus on listening more, because I think that we are here because we didn't listen more. And I think that we are at a time where we need more friends, where we can feel safe to have an opinion, whatever it may be. And if it is a horrible opinion, I feel you should be allowed to say it and correct course when you realize that maybe other people have other views that you may be able to better, I don't know, still have a similar opinion, but without sort of whatever that nastiness is that really turns people away from your particular opinion. And I think opinions are very important, and variety is also very important. And the fact that we disagree is very important. It's utmost important, because if we don't disagree, we don't have any other opinions. And if we don't disagree, we don't have other points of view. And if we don't talk about it, like friends, like people we can count on to say, okay, I don't agree, with respect. And I don't agree because of this or that or that. But I agree with you. Let's just say maybe there is a spot you can find where you can agree on. And that's where we could all start. I think we can all start with, where do we agree first? And then how can we disagree better, meaning kinder? And then how can we find ways to bridge where we disagree? And I think that most people would agree that that is a place where most people would want to be, no? So I invite you here in the middle of nowhere and in the middle of absolute chaos, where order eventually will rise. And I want to thank you, and I want to apologize again for allowing life to what would be the best way to say it? Because, I don't regret any of the 3 weeks. I wouldn't change anything. But it taught me that sometimes you have to step away, and sometimes you have to because I like to hang on to everything. I'm a pack rat. And I don't mean just in things. I'm a pack rat in, oh my God, in even people. I'm a pack rat in thoughts, I think. I'm a pack rat in emails. I'm a pack rat in information. I'm a pack rat just by nature. So I am learning to let go of things because being a pack rat has a set of circumstances that weight us down, like pack rats, I mean. So I'm learning to try to not be a pack rat because I realize that's a reaction to something. So, working through your weirdness is really working through who you are and understanding yourself. Anyways, I have no idea how long this is, but if you've made it this far, thank you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I appreciate it. And also, if you have made it this far, I would also appreciate one of these thumbs up and maybe a subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And if you are, thank you. And I will be here on Thursday. I've got to go and just throw this on the internet. And hopefully my internet is not going to give me trouble because I've been having some trouble. So until then, I hope you're fabulous wherever you are. And I hope you are aiming to live a quieter, a more calm, and a more kind life for yourself. I hope you're not running in your life, because running is like that fast forward movie where you don't know where it all went, and then you turn around and you're a wrinkled little spot on a rocking chair, and you don't know how you got there. Kind of like society. How did we get here? How did we get here? That we're teaching grade 1ers about masturbation. Interesting times. Well, until then, my friend.